Do you believe those tiny pull tabs from soda cans can be turned into a mini homemade welding machine? Sounds hard to believe, right? But when you really think about it, it actually makes perfect sense. If you're curious how I managed to do it, stay with me till the end. I'll show you everything. Here I've got an old paintbrush, and when I looked at it, the wooden handle felt just perfect to use as the handle for a homemade mini welding machine. Next, I'm going to securely attach 2 pull tabs onto the front of the wooden handle. I'll use screws and tighten them down firmly so everything stays solid and doesn't move around during use. These 2 pull tabs aren't just there for show. They'll act as a holder and stabilizer for the welding tip. Once they're fixed in place, the welding head can be mounted securely, making the whole mini welder much more stable, safer to handle, and easier to control. In this wiring step, make sure you prepare a single core electrical wire. This type of wire is easier to bend, shape, and connect, which makes the wiring process much cleaner and more reliable. Now, let's talk a bit about the positive electrical plug. This is the part responsible for carrying power from the source into the circuit. In simple terms, it's where the energy starts its journey. Identifying the positive side correctly is important because it helps the device work as intended and keeps everything stable during operation. Let me introduce these parts: motorcycle valve stems. Normally, they're used to keep air sealed inside a tire, but thanks to their solid metal structure, they can be repurposed in a very practical way. In this build, 2 valve stems are used to form the welding head. Their main function is to hold and secure the homemade welding tip firmly in place. Because they're strong, heat-resistant, and easy to align, they help keep the tip stable, straight, and consistent during use, making the mini welder much more controllable. Once the welding head is completed, the next important part is the homemade welding tip, and this is where the AA battery core comes into play. The welding tip is a small part, but it plays a big role. Its main purpose is to focus heat and electrical energy right at the contact point, instead of letting it spread out. When the heat is concentrated, the mini welder becomes much more effective and easier to control. Using an AA battery core here actually makes a lot of sense when you look at it from a practical point of view. The core is made of metal, which conducts electricity well, and its size is already small and compact, perfect for a mini tool like this. Because of its shape, it can be positioned firmly in the welding head without taking up unnecessary space. Another reason this works well is consistency. A solid, uniform metal core helps deliver steady heat to the welding point, which is exactly what a small homemade welder needs. So instead of being random or improvised, this choice is logical, simple, and effective, turning a common everyday component into a functional welding tip that fits the design of a mini homemade welding machine. And just like that, the 2 homemade welding tips are finally done. Now it's time to install them into their proper positions, bringing the welding head together and getting everything ready for the next step. Let's talk about the electrical outlet. This is where the power comes from. Its job is to supply electricity from the main source and deliver it to the plug connected to the device. In simple terms, the outlet acts as a bridge between the power source and the plug, ensuring electricity flows steadily and consistently to where it's needed. Using a small battery is actually a very sensible choice in this setup. It provides enough power for the system to operate while keeping everything compact, lightweight, and easy to control with a smaller battery. The overall build stays simple and practical, which matches the purpose of a homemade mini device, efficient, manageable, and well-balanced. And all the tests that come next are actually quite simple. But if you really want to see how effective this device is and what it's truly capable of, You'll need to stay focused and keep watching closely. And that's the result. From simple everyday parts to a working mini homemade welder machine. Proof that creativity matters more than expensive tools. If you enjoyed this build, like, share, and follow for more practical DIY projects. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.